Welcome back, friends. iRelat here with a story about a woman who's divorcing her husband after 10 years because she found out a secret about him that she wishes she hadn't. So she says, my husband and I met when I was 18. It had always been just me and my best friend, but when my husband came along, we became an inseparable trio. For me, it was love at first sight. I had the biggest crush on him, but didn't want to ruin the friendship that we had, so I kept it to myself until he confessed his feelings for me when we were 20. Things went fast, and we got married when we were 22. My best friend got married too, and we all have remained close. Recently, we had my best friend and her husband over for dinner, and we were joking about the things we got up to, and my husband brought up how he had always had a crush on my best friend, but then she got a boyfriend, so he settled for me instead. When he said this, my whole world just came crashing down. I realized my marriage of 10 years was just him settling for second best, that I was never his first option. After that, everything he did just started to annoy me and he just stopped being attractive to me anymore. We haven't slept together in 6 months because I feel so disgusted. I just want out. I feel like I've wasted my life. I'm disappointed in him and myself for believing I was the one he liked. Well, this kinda sucks for this lady, but in my opinion, I don't see how the fact that her husband liked her friend first 10 years ago could really be affecting her this much. At least not enough to follow through with a divorce. Although I guess I understand how upsetting it would be to find out your spouse was actually into your best friend before you, and if he actually used the word settled, that's pretty bad. And someone in the comments asked if he did in fact use that exact word, to which she replied yes. I typically try to stick up for men when I can, but sometimes they're just idiots. Who would say this to their wife in front of the best friend and her husband? I mean, what I'm wondering is, what did they think about it? Which I guess some other people also thought in the comments, and she replied to that too. It was so awkward. My best friend just said she didn't realize and knew I always had a crush on my husband. Then we just changed the subject and they made an excuse to leave as quickly as they could while remaining polite. I got a call later that night from her checking on me, and she told me her husband was so angry for both of us because it wasn't just putting me on the spot but her as well. I was just relieved it didn't ruin our friendship, to be honest. So later in the comments, she says she is going to definitely divorce him, and then she updated the original post by saying that she tried to talk it out with him for the past 6 months. Then she says, husband knows about the divorce. I told my best friend and she told my husband. So I come home to a don't leave him intervention where they all wanted to work it out. I've never been so confused. What's there to be confused about? She says, for the past 6 months, I've been trying to ask him what he feels and what he meant by his comment, and to answer my questions like literally to the point where I've screamed it in his face just telling him to tell me. He's been saying nothing and she's been encouraging me to talk to him but keeping her distance. I thought it was because he didn't like him. You thought what was because who didn't like him? Who's he? Or is that a typo and it's supposed to say she? But that still doesn't make sense. Anyway, apparently she thinks we're perfect together and he doesn't want to lose what we have. What do we have? We're basically roommates who have sex at this point. I think I won't update this because I'm a bit miffed and angry. I'm gonna go stay at my mom's or something. I thought you said you haven't been sleeping together for the last 6 months. So down in the comments, another person says, I mean, the real question is, does he still like your best friend? And she replies, he won't tell me. So if he won't tell her, I think that's a pretty big sign that the answer is yes. Then the next reply says, the fact that he couldn't just bring himself to say no leads me to believe that he revealed this with hopes that you'd be into swinging. You mentioned in a previous reply that your friend is cool with that sort of thing, so that could be the reason why he thought he had an opening. Or a second opening. So she has another update that says, pretty major update that I said I wouldn't do, but I'm not a man of my word and never said I was. Man? Wouldn't it be woman of my word? Isn't this a woman we're talking about? Anyway. Today I got a message from my best friend's husband asking where she was, and I had no idea because I'm at my mom's house. Can we guess where she was? She's at my effing house with my effing husband. What weird effing universe am I living in? Anyway, yeah, so I'm leaving and taking all my stuff with me. My mom will have to put up with me for a while because the divorce is definitely happening, and I'm going to therapy. Man, this is really not cool for this woman. There's almost nothing worse than finding out that your spouse is cheating on you with your best friend. Because now does she not only not have a husband, but she doesn't have a best friend anymore either. And like she even said, she's going to therapy because it's going to be so hard for her to trust new friends or men in the future. She's probably going to be messed up from this for a long time. And not only will she be suffering, but her future husbands or boyfriends will too. So my heart definitely goes out to her. This obviously looks bad, and I think we can all safely assume what the husband and best friend were doing at the house together. But for the sake of this woman, I wanted to have hopes that maybe they were just talking about his marriage with her and not actually doing anything. But unfortunately, after searching through the comments a little bit more, I found out this situation was actually worse than we knew. So down in the comments, somebody says, "I'm so sorry this happened. Your best friend sucks. Fudge her. Who does this to someone? Could they have been cheating for a while now?" And the response to that comment tells us everything we need to know. The person says, her husband admits in the comments of his post that they had an affair the first 4 years of their marriage until the best friend got married and cut him off. So apparently people were somehow linking to her husband's post, which also talked about this topic, but since then, the woman who originally posted this deleted this account and all of her comments. So I have no way of finding his account and finding out the rest of the story. Or at least I thought, until right after I said what I just said, I look over and I see some more posts recommended on the sidebar here. So sit tight, folks. We'll be right back. Okay, so after a little bit of digging, it seems the husband saw the original post and he wanted to respond to it. But in his attempt to defend himself, he pretty much just admits to everything she said and makes himself look worse. So he says, "I would like to tell my side. When I met my wife," his side. Wait till you hear his side. "When I met my wife, I didn't really think much of her. She was funny, kind, and a good friend, but I had no other interest. Her friend was gorgeous. She was my dream girl, but wasn't interested in me. I noticed my wife was hanging out with me more, laughing at my jokes, listening to me, so it made me want to have a relationship with her. Her friend got a boyfriend about a year into us being friends, and her interest in our friendship group dwindled. We got married, but in the back of my mind, it always felt like I'd missed out on something. My marriage was boring. So one day when we were at dinner, I got jealous of her friend and husband, who seemed to be happy, and I made the comment about settling. She shut down after that and kept repeating the same questions over and over, and it would make me so angry that I didn't want to answer. So I didn't." Okay, this guy's the angry one. "I guess that was my first bad move." No, your first bad move was marrying someone you didn't care about, and your second bad move was cheating on her for 4 years with her best friend. Then her friend messaged me after dinner to check if I was okay, and we kept messaging. Why would you be the one who's not okay? This friend sounds like a piece of work. Then I got a message saying my wife was planning to divorce me. So her friend came over and saw how distraught I was and stayed to comfort me. We drank a little bit and made a drunk, stupid mistake sleeping together. Yeah, it was just a drunken mistake. Get real. It's so pathetic when people say this crap. Now, I don't see anything in the comments referencing what that other person said about this guy having a 4-year relationship with this person, but there are a lot of other people commenting as if they read that same thing. I like how this guy tried to respond to her post by saying, "But wait, guys, you haven't even heard my side yet." And then his side is worse than what she said. It's so sad how this woman thought she had a great friend in this perfect love story of how she was able to snag her man despite being the less appealing of the two, only to find out that her best friend and husband were both pieces of garbage who stabbed her in the back repeatedly throughout the relationship. And if you remember, earlier in the wife's post, she said that after that comment was made and her best friend left with her husband, the best friend called the wife and said that she and her husband were mad that it put the best friend on the spot. Then the wife said she was just happy it didn't ruin the friendship. Now we know that not only did the best friend call her, but she also was calling and consoling the husband, and the best friend had actually already ruined the relationship long ago. The best friend's behavior is absolutely despicable, and on some level she was probably always jealous when the guy that she denied stopped giving her attention and went for the other friend. But she played it off and had a side relationship with him anyway until her ego was satisfied, then she moved on after ruining her best friend's life. It's really pathetic. Imagine how devastating this must be for the wife who for once thought that she won in life, but now has to come to terms with the fact that once again, she comes in second place to her friend. And not only that, but also her husband is just a complete piece of garbage. Like I said, my heart definitely goes out to this woman, and I just hope she can recover from this. But what's your opinion about this situation? Let us all know in the comments, and thanks to anyone who subscribed, clicked like, or shared this video. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos. My contact info's in the description if you want to get a hold of me. Definitely check out the rest of the channel, and I'll see you later. Peace.